Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us for another Nimble training webinar. My name is Nikhila Underdow, and today I will be covering how to use Nimble segmentation. We'll focus on how to use group messaging in Nimble, and we will also look at creating custom fields and what they look like on the front end, and we'll cover some use cases. And before we get started, because today we have a lot of people that are considering using Nimble, and you are probably here to find out if Nimble is the right fit for you and your company. And also we have some people in trial, they're still figuring it out. So Nimble is an easy to use customer relationship management software, and we work in both Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace, and also in your personal instances of these emails. So we do that via our extensions. We have extensions for Gmail and also for Outlook. So when you load the extensions and if you continue to email with your clients and prospects, you will be able to see the Nimble extension on the right side of your screen. And if you want to use it to access your existing contact records, you can do so. You can make any edits, tag them, and so on. You can fill out any custom fields. And if you want to use it to create new contact records, you can do so as well, and then do the next steps. Immediately from your inbox, you can create a task for yourself, somebody else from your team, to just ensure that the next steps are getting done. You can also create a new deal straight from there. And we also develop extensions for all the main browsers. So we are available on Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and also Microsoft Edge. And through these extensions, you will be able to access Nimble outside of Nimble. So everywhere else you might be communicating with clients, prospects, or prospecting, finding leads, you can bring up the Nimble extension, just hover over any name anywhere, including all the social media platforms, and we will help you create new contact records. We'll help you find additional contact information for them, including their social profiles. So we have an automatic data enrichment built into Nimble, and then you'll be able to tag them and, like I mentioned, do all the next steps. So Nimble allows you to combine contacts from various different places. We, as I mentioned, mesh them with the communication histories. We also mesh them with your calendar appointments. So again, when you open up the contact record, you know the emails you have exchanged, and when was the last time you had an appointment with your prospects and clients. And then you can also take it with you on both your iPhones and Android devices as well. And we are currently in the process of updating both of these applications, and the updates should be becoming publicly available in the next month or so. So with that, I would like to go into the main application. And today, we are focusing in this webinar on segmentation, group messaging, and also creating custom fields. So if you're interested in a demo of Nimble, my colleague Vivian will be able to share a link to our recent webinar we did last week that was an overview of the entire application. And you can also sign up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then access all the past ones and future ones. And if you have any questions about anything, doesn't have to be related to today's topic, please type them in and I'll make sure to cover them. But today we will be focusing on these features only. And the next Nimble overview demo webinar will be next week. So you can also register for that one. So here we are on the contact, in the contacts tab in Nimble. And Nimble is a custom relationship management database. So it is a database, contact database at its heart. So once you bring in your contacts into Nimble from various different places, like your Google contacts, Outlook contacts, spreadsheets, or any third-party applications via any of our integrations, via our extensions, they will show up here. So on the left side on your screen, under contact list, in all contacts, of course, you'll be able to see all your contacts. And one thing to know is that every time you bring in a contact into Nimble and they have a company associated with them, we will automatically create a company contact record for them as well. So then you can store the information about the companies on the company record, and then you can create individual contact records for all the employees or the owner of the company on the individual people records. So then you'll be able to go through just the people contact records in Nimble or just the company contact records. We also give you the option to put certain people, the most important contacts, your VIPs, into this marked as important list for easy access, and that you can do so by marking this little star. So then you can easily access all the most important contacts in your database and then make sure that you are properly nurturing them, staying in touch with them on a regular basis, and so on. The recently viewed section is also pretty handy. Let's say you just added a bunch of people using the browser extension called Nimble Prospector, and then you want to go directly to these contacts. Maybe you haven't tagged them yet. This is where you could easily locate them. And recently added, that's where the recently added ones will be as well. Nimble will also automatically track when was the last time you contacted them. And we will do so by tracking email sent. So every time you send them an email, we will automatically update it. And then we will also track it when you have any Twitter interactions with them, or if you manually reset that. Stay in touch part. So next to the little star on which you can click and mark people as important and put them on the VIP list, you'll see this little clock sign. And this is a very nice feature that can help you to ensure that you are staying top of mind with the most important contacts in your database. And you can set up weekly, monthly, quarterly, or annual reminders, as well as custom reminders, and help Nimble basically remind you to stay in touch with these people on a regular basis. So when it's time to reach out to them, you'll get a notification. They will show up on this list. The little clock will turn red. And also on our Today page, you will be able to see it there. We have a stay in touch reminder widget, and you'll see the list of people that are due for a touch. In our remove contacts folder, this is where you'll be able to recover any previously deleted contacts that maybe you didn't mean to delete. So by default, they will stay there for 60 days, but the account admin can change it to something else. So when we go back to all contacts, I want to cover the segmentation. So when you're working here, if you want to use some of these default folders, you can do so. You can always configure the table and basically define what columns you want to focus on. So depending why you're creating a certain list, so you can select from the existing fields, and by clicking on Add Field, you can also add any existing fields or any custom fields. And then you can also sort by name, first name, the creation day, last name, and so on. So this can also help you to make sure that you are quickly creating the list you need and then doing the next steps with them. So let's say I need to segment my existing database further because I know what specific group I'm looking at. So I have previously tagged all my current clients with the tag clients. So I'll bring it up from here, click update, and then I want to know who from our clients are located in California. So I can click on end here. So then it will be bringing up the people that are tagged as clients and also live in the state of California. So in here, I can do contains word and I can do CA. And that's because some of them will probably have the word California. Some of them will have the abbreviation of the state. So when I click update, I have a list of all my clients that reside in California. So here I can do several things with them. I could possibly create a special tag for my California clients. I can set up stay in touch reminder for them. Maybe I want to stay in touch with them on a quarterly basis, so I can set that reminder in bulk. And I can also set all of them as important. If I wanted to change the owner and make sure that I am taking care of all our California clients, I can also do that in bulk here. I can also change the privacy rule. So especially if you're using Nimble as a team, this can become very handy to make sure that some contacts are set on private, so only you will be able to see them. And then you can also create groups for each of your departments. And in settings, you can build groups with the permission settings for each of these groups. So maybe your sales team will have different set of permissions than your marketing team or customer success teams, and so on. So another action I can take here, and that I wanted to definitely make sure we cover today, is save in a group as a saved segment. So one question we get a lot is, what is the difference between tags, custom fields, and saved segments? So tags will be static, while segments will be dynamic. So let's say I save this group as California clients. Every time I add a new person to my database and they match the criteria, so I tag them with the tag clients, and also they have they have the word CA in the state field in Nimble, they will be automatically added to the list. So this list on my main contacts page will be automatically updated by them. So let's say I quickly want to make sure that I send a group message to all my California clients. I can access it here. Let's say now I want to create another save segment, but I want to do my clients in Oklahoma. I could use this option to copy the segment, which will save me time on basically recreating the entire search. So this search is not very complicated, but sometimes you want to add additional things, like maybe a last purchase date or last contacted by the team, or purchasing a certain product, which we will be covering in custom fields. That's one feature that you can use to capture specific information about your clients and your customers. So in this case, this is already the copy one, so I could do all my clients, and I could just change it here. I could change the state here. So then they will be here. Another thing I wanted to mention regarding our segments is that these segments will only show up in your instance of Nimble. So if you are using Nimble as a team, by default, they'll only be on your screen. But if you decide to share it with your team, you can easily unlock it, and then it will be popping up on all your team members' contacts view as well. So these are saved segments. Just to reiterate that the main difference between tags and saved segments is that tags will be static. You will have to manually apply them to each individual record you add to Nimble, while the saved segments will be dynamic. So in this case, we chose to have tag group as one of the options here, but let's say it's you just created by a city. So every time you add a contact to Nimble that is based in Santa Monica, they will be automatically added to your save segment. So you don't have to redo the searches, and you can save time. So another action that you can take when creating the segmentation, when using the segmentation and creating searches in Nimble, is to send a group message. So before we go there, I also want to show you all the different fields that you can use to segment and create targeted groups of people for outreaches in Nimble. So It can be name or the employment. And as you can see, you can use the current organization or past organization. And really depending on your use case and why you're reaching out to them, you can use any of the address fields, possibly their education as well, any influence groups. So Nimble will be automatically grouping your contacts by their influence group. So we'll be finding it out by accessing databases that capture the areas of influence for people depending on what they do on social media, the topics they talk about, and so on. You can also create searches based on birthdays. So if you want to use the client's birthdays as a way to reach out to them and nurture the relationships with them, you can also use this field. So I can pull up everybody that has birthdays next month. So it's actually this group of people. So I could select all of them and then send them a group message. And in here, one of the main questions we get regarding group messages in Nimble is the difference between group messaging in Nimble and using a marketing automation system. So, and if Nimble could possibly replace a marketing automation tool. So the main difference is that when you're sending emails from Nimble, they are coming out from the email addresses that you connected. So this is my Google Workspace email. So when I send a message to this group of people, they will not know they were part of a group outreach. To them, it will look like I send them a one-on-one message from Gmail. So this makes it look more personal, like I took the time to really do my research and reach out to them one-on-one, as opposed to sending them something that looks like a beautifully crafted newsletter from a marketing automation system that everybody can always tell that it's a one-to-many email as opposed to one-on-one communication. So we believe that Nimble works great in conjunction with marketing automation system because you can still use marketing automation system to nurture your entire database, send them company newsletters, create really beautiful templates there. And then once you start communicating with people one-on-one, this is where this feature can really come in, because you can if you have several clients that you are reaching out to with the same message, this can really save you time on retyping the same message. And also when you're doing any more personal outreaches, it can really make it stand out in people's inboxes because it's coming from a personal Gmail or Outlook or any other IMAP email that you connected to Nimble as opposed to a mass email. So you can also connect as many emails as you want to Nimble. So then you can select it, make sure that there are no errors. If there are any errors, you would be seeing it here. And what we mean by errors is that you sometimes might select a contact record that doesn't have the email. So pay attention to this tab as well. Everything looks good here. So I selected the email I want my outreach to go out of. Subject line, straightforward. You just fill in your subject line, and then you can personalize the emails by using our merge tags. So I could say, hello, and start typing my email. If you want to further personalize it by adding last name or the title or a company name, you can use the additional merge text as well. We also give you the option to add an unsubscribe link to comply with, all the privacy laws. You can attach files and use basic formatting. Again, we don't have any templates that are built in. You can definitely create them elsewhere and copy and paste into Nimble. We do have customers that are using group messaging as a way to send their customers newsletters. It all depends on the size of your database. So we set the limits pretty low. And the reason is that because the messages are coming from your email provider, we don't want you to get flagged by your email provider as a spammer. So by default, you will be able to send 100 messages per day per user. It will reset at midnight. So some of our customers just separate their outreaches in a few days if they don't want to upgrade. Some of our customers upgrade, and for additional $10 per month, you can get additional 100 messages, with the maximum being 300 per day per user. And when you create your email, the body of the email, let's say you know for a fact that this is something you would like to reuse in the future, you want to save time on retyping the same thing over and over again, you can save it as a template, or you can pick from an existing template and just pop it in like this, make any changes, make sure that everything looks good. And you can also copy and paste your email signature. You should do it in settings, in email settings, copy and paste it in there and save it. And after that, we will be automatically attaching it to all the emails that come from Nimble. Before you send your outreach, always send yourself a test message to make sure that everything looks good, there are no typos, that attachments have been attached. If you include any links, that they work, your signature looks good, and so on. And after you're ready to send, just send it out, and then keep an eye on the stats under the main group messages tab. So after you've sent an outreach from Nimble, we will tell you how many you sent, how many people opened, how many people clicked, if there are any people that haven't read your message yet, if any of the emails failed, if anybody unsubscribed, and then you'll also be able to see when was the last time people engaged with the emails, when was the last time they opened, if they opened, how many times, if they click your links, how many times. So when you review it, and especially if you enable notifications for the opens, you can use this information to reach out to your customers at the time they're thinking about you. You can call them, say, I just got a notification that you're reviewing the proposal. I wanted to make sure that I answer any questions you might have, or you can send another follow-up email to get on top of their inbox, show them that you're paying attention and that you're available to answer any questions that they might have. So that's group messaging and the stats. We covered the segmentation, and now I would like to go on a main contact record in Nimble. I'm going to select Brain here, and I want to cover custom data fields in Nimble. So when you go into Edit, this is where you'll be able to see a lot of the default fields in Nimble. So you can capture all the social information about your prospects and customers, lead information about them, and these individual fields can be defined in settings depending on your sales process. But many times these fields are not enough. Many times our customers want to be capturing specific information about their customers. What is it they purchased, when, or where they are located exactly, who is the primary contact there, any specific information in regards to their needs, or anything that has been discussed on any of your calls. So under data fields here, you will be able to create up to 5 additional custom tabs, and under each of these tabs, you'll be able to create as many custom fields as you want. And I see that Jared also asked about any limitations on the number of tags you can create in Nimble. And as far as I know, we don't have limits on there, or I haven't heard of anybody that would go over the tag limit. So it's going to be pretty high. So you can create the custom fields here and create it for any type of information you want to be capturing about your customers. So this is the front end of it, and I want to show you how you can create it. So you can click on the circle in the top right corner here, go into data fields. And on the left side here in data fields, this is where you'll be able to create a new tab. So we'll click on it, name it. We'll name it example. Make sure that we put it on both people and companies contact records. You can also choose to only show it on people contact records. Completely up to you. And when we've created it, we can create a group, or we can just start creating fields. So the groups are good to basically create like a separator within the tab. So if I'm capturing different information about my customers, I can create a group. You can put a little icon on here, and the group can be called, let's say, customer needs. I'll create the group here, and under that, I can create individual fields. So I can click plus field, and as you can see, it's being created under this group. So the individual field types can be a short text, long text, depending on the type of information you'll be capturing. It can be a select box or true false flag, user field, date field, address field, or it can be a number field. So then you'll be able to segment on any of these custom fields as well, in addition to any of the default fields. So the field name can be, let's say, CRM features. I'll create it, and I also know that maybe I'll want it to be a select box to make it easy for all my reps, so they can just select the values from the drop-down menu, and it can be group messaging, it can be pipeline management. I'll create the field, and then I'll create another group, and I'll call it in here, because there's so many. Okay, for me CRM, I can create a field, and it can be a short text, and field type will be any field type here. So I'll create it, and now we can go back on the contact record to see what it will look like on the front end. So I'll go back to Bryn's contact record, go under data fields, and it will be under more. So this is the example we created. So these are the individual groups that we have created. Under each group, you can create as many individual custom fields as well. So then you can just fill it in here. And type any information here. If you are getting started with Nimble, or if you have any spreadsheets that you are using to manage your company and relationships with your customers, you can also bulk upload into these fields. So as long as you name one of the columns in your spreadsheet the same name as the field type, it will be automatically imported. But if you don't do that, if you don't want to do a lot of work prior, you can also go to networks and imports and use our CSV Import Wizard. And for any field that we won't recognize when you're importing, we will give you the option to either create the field or manually select an existing one, which can be a custom field. So just to, again, explain the difference between tags, save segments, and custom fields. Tags will be the easiest way to organize contacts. You can select people in bulk and then apply a tag to them. You can use an existing tag, or you can create a brand new one, like this. And then they will have to be manually added either one by one or in bulk like that, or via a CSV file import to your contacts. Well, when you use our segmentation feature to create any safe segments, so let's say I want to create safe segment of all my CEOs, and I will also want to make sure that last contacted by team was, let's say, in the last 30 days to make sure I'm staying top of mind with everybody. And this is especially useful when you have more advanced searches. That's where it can really help you to save time. So I could save the segment as CEOs, and then this segment will be automatically updated every time a contact record is added in Nimble or is edited so it matches the search criteria. So that's how you can utilize safe segments, and then they'll be on your main contacts page here. By default, they'll be private to you, only showing on your Nimble instance, but you can unlock them and share them with your entire team. And then custom fields, they can be created for any people, company, or people and company contact records in Nimble. You can completely define them to your business model, and you can create up to 5 custom tabs. So this could be, this one can be called additional customer information. This can be purchase information. This can be something else. Or if your company has multiple divisions, each division can have their own set of fields under individual custom tabs, and you can define them as you want. You can create as many groups as you want, as many custom fields as you want, and so on. So with that, I'm going to look at the questions we've received so far. And Dmitry is saying that he's tried to create an email signature in the settings several times, but the format inevitably gets messed up next time he tries to send a message. So for those of you that haven't added their signature, you can go to settings, click on email settings, email signature, and you should be able to just copy and paste and make any changes and save. It definitely should not be messing up. So please, Dmitry, if I can ask you, email us at care@nimble.com and our team will look into it for you, because it definitely should not be happening. Rebel is asking, if a contact is in a group in LinkedIn or Facebook, does or can that be sorted or seen? For example, if they belong to a travel or adventure group or special interests. This is a really good question. This information would have to be captured by you manually. So as you are prospecting, and maybe let me actually show you. So we could go on LinkedIn and go to a certain group. So we can do Nimble Solution Partners. So I could use the browser extension here. And I can start prospecting these people. And I can either use our tags to put in the interest in there. So I can do Nimble Solution Partner, save it. I could also have custom fields created. And then I could fill in the information in the custom field. So you could have custom group for all the different groups, or the information you want to capture about the interest groups, and fill it in here. And then you'll be able to go into Nimble and use the segmentation to pull up the information. So if it's a tag, it's obviously very easy to do so. I just need to refresh, I guess. So the tag should be popping up here. So by tagging, it's very easy to do so. So you can bring them up here. And if you decide to create custom fields, you would just type the name of the field here. So it could be interest group, and then you could pull up the list of all the people that you added the information to their contact records. So I hope this helped. Let me see if there are any other questions. So far, we don't have any more questions coming in. So let me talk about our upcoming webinars. So next week, we will be hosting a webinar that will be focusing on walking you through the entire application. We will go through each individual tab in Nimble, each individual feature, and we will also share our mobile screen. So you'll see the different mobile app features. The following week, on June 2nd, we will be focusing on contact cleanup strategy. So this is a very popular webinar many times because we make it very easy to import contacts. Our customers realize they didn't properly tag them. They hadn't created custom fields prior to the imports, and basically that they need some help with cleaning up their databases and getting more organized. So that's what we will be focusing on during this webinar. And then the upcoming week on June 9th, again, we will go through the entire app and mobile app. On June 16th, we will be focusing on deals, pipelines, and reporting. And we will also be given an update on how these features will be changing this quarter, as we will be launching a huge update to deals, pipelines, and reporting in Nimble. You can either keep in our inbox, because we will continue to invite everybody to our upcoming webinars, or you can go directly to nimble.com/company/webinars. And my colleague Nadia will also be sharing the link with you in the chat box to register for any topics that look good. And here it is, the special offer I mentioned at the beginning of today's session. If you are currently in trial, you can still take advantage of this and get your regular 14-day trial extended to 30 days by emailing us at care@nimble.com. But if you are thinking about trial in Nimble, you think it might be a good fit for you or your company, you can click on nimble.com/offer/webinar30. Again, Nadia, Vivian, please copy and paste it into the questions box, and we will also be summarizing all this information in our follow-up emails. And we will be including the link to the recording of today's webinar, and you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep an eye on the upcoming webinars and recordings of any past webinars. So with that, I would like to thank everybody for joining me today. And if you have any questions, please write to us at care@nimble.com. It's CARE@nimble.com, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. So thank you again, and I hope you will have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.